Hey, everybody, all our freaks and geeks. This is going to be a nice little change of pace. We're going to do another movie review. This movie today, is, if you couldn't tell from my background, is going to be the new Doctor Strange movie. And we're going to talk about our opinions and what we thought about it. And then at the end, we're going to give a rating. Strap up. And this is going to be a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen the movie, check out now. Come back and view this when you have. And see if you agree with our opinions. If you disagree, let us know in the comments down below. We are there. But yeah, we'll start this off. So Marcus, what are your thoughts on, let's say, how the movie started off? Like the first scene of like where they started off this movie, where they started off with Chavez and a variant Doctor Strange and like them fighting some like alien entity or whatever like that. Like how did you feel that started off?
Come on, Defender
Yeah,
Strange, as they
yeah,
call him.
Defender Strange with the white thing in the ponytail.
The ponytail, yeah. Of course, we know he plays a big part in the end of the movie. You know, even though he wasn't alive, but we'll get to that. But I will say this: I thought it was cool how they explained like the whole concept and idea of the multiverse, and how it's basically like when the people in the MCU when they're dreaming and they see like themselves in a dream, it's actually another version of them in a multiverse, and they just living through that dream, and that's how they came up with the whole like what was it? They were dream walking.
Yeah, the dream walking was pretty
dream
cool.
walking. So I was
cool.
like, okay, that's cool because that's like a perception of what dreams really are. It's almost like you living through another universe and you seeing yourself as somebody else, and you're just there for that moment. So I was like, that's cool. Figured out how to make something of it, and then just it's just here. So they didn't do like they did with the time travel thing. They actually put some thought into it and had it like explained through the most simplest way, where it wouldn't be like, oh, I gotta hurt my brain. So I thought that was, cool how they introduced that and how Chavez was like the key to the whole multiverse thing. But
I knew it coming.
Like I said, it started off really strong. Wanda, I knew she was gonna be the villain. Yeah. Or that's what they were trying to make her, but I knew she was gonna be the villain. And I knew when he went to visit her to ask her about the multiverse, and she was out there picking flowers. I was like, nah, bro. Right? This ain't right. Something it's too good to be true. I knew something was up.
From the end of WandaVision, you knew she was still not. And you're like, oh no, this is too like.
I was like, ain't no way. She just chilling, picking daisies and stuff. Nah, man.
Talk about rehabilitation and whatnot. Like she's better now. I'm like, nah, you were messing with a evil book at the end of WandaVision, so we already know this ain't. Yeah. This is, and also the rune stuff, I was like, oh no, she's talking about runes. I'm like, oh no, this is Wanda's in on this somewhere. I don't know where. Definitely. But can we talk about how they let her be a character now? Like they did not restrain her anymore. Like they let her be the villain. Like man. Like she was she was in her House of M bag today. Like that movie. She was like, oh, I came here. She was like, oh, I was doing things reasonably before. You don't want me to come in here and do what I'm gonna do anyway. Like I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna lay out this stuff. I'm gonna be real nasty with it. And then she was. The entire movie, she did not slow down a beat, miss a step. She was doing stuff, dream walking, killing people. Not even in her body, just laying people out.
Bro, man, look, she took that dark hold and she totally embraced it, bro.
Yeah, she was like, nah, I gotta get these kids back.
Yeah, she was, oh man. She was totally corrupted by the dark hole, and I liked how they 100% committed to her being like the Scarlet Witch. Mm-hmm. And I ain't gonna lie, when she was killing people, I was like getting excited. I know that's crazy. Same.
Yeah, but crazy, but yes, no.
Yes. I was like, thank you, Sam Raimi.
Exactly.
You gave us
thank you.
The Wanda that we wanted. But I think it's cool that.
Thank you. But at the same time, I was like, your morals, the way you're doing this is wrong. But like, we needed that. We needed this Wanda. We needed this Scarlet Witch for a long time. We needed this Scarlet Witch, like our co-host Chad said. We needed this in the Infinity War. Where were this energy at in the Infinity War when Thanos was taking your man, taking your guy,
literally taking a stone out of his head, like I don't know, man. But yeah,
so, yeah, that's what I liked, and I was glad that they were able to. I think it was Sam Raimi that did a really good job, and I think they if they gave him his full length of whatever he really wanted and they didn't cut it short, I think it would have been a better movie.
That's another thing. You could tell that was a 2 hour and 40-minute movie. You could tell there was a lot of stuff they cut out that was probably integral to the movie.
Agreed.
It would have made some of the plot holes and some of the stuff flush out a little bit better. And I was like, why couldn't we get the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes when the last few Marvel movies have been almost 3 hours? But
exactly.
I honestly think what they cut and what they took out either was it would have made it more close to getting an R rating, or it was some stuff in there that they felt they didn't need to explore right now. Yeah. But it was definitely some stuff missing. But I love how Sam Raimi kept his little jump scares in there. And the person I went with, I kept saying, hey, just get ready for a lot of jump scares. And they thought I was joking. and they were
a lot.
Dead on. And it was some good ones, too.
It was some real good ones. Yeah.
But,
agreed.
Yeah, man, I really love how, first of all, I was just happy to see Sam Raimi return to direct anything because it's been a while since we've seen him do something. Do I wish they gave him more to do and let him have more to explore in the multiverse part of it? Yes, because I feel like Sam Raimi really could have killed different kind of universes.
Yeah.
And getting to the multiverse thing, the big problem I had with it was that it's called the Multiverse of Madness. And the way they sold it to us was we were going to see multiple Doctor Stranges. And how many did we see, Dmitri?
3. Yeah, we saw 3. Yeah, we saw 3.
Including one that was already dead.
Yeah, but
we saw him in a flashback. Yeah.
Yeah.
So out of the whole movie, we only get 3 different versions of Doctor Strange.
3 Doctor Stranges, 2 Scarlet Witches, and pretty much it. We didn't see too many doubles.
We didn't even see another version of Wong.
Nah.
Of course, America Chavez, they explained why it wasn't other versions of her.
Because she's literally the only one.
And then another thing is, I don't know what happened, but if it's other universes, Wanda has the kids and they defeat Thanos, in some of the universes they didn't have the stone, where was Vision?
Right? No,
Vision was not in one of those other universes that she was looking at. Okay, I get it with the main one they went to. I think what was it, Earth 838 or something like that.
838 was 838 was the one they went with the dreams and stuff like that, the futuristic.
I was like, okay, I get it. Maybe that Tony Stark and Bruce Banner didn't make Vision. Maybe they just went with Ultron. So they didn't use the Mind Stone. But when they defeated Thanos, he didn't have all the stones.
Nah.
So I was like, at the house, when she went, I was like, yo.
Anthem J. Crew?
Man.
Here's the thing. Here's my thing. I don't even think Iron Man exists in that universe. Because here's the thing. If the Illuminati exists in some fashion, I wanted to see Iron Man on the boarding some card.
Bro.
Because that lineup was bad. That lineup
let's talk about that. Because I know how you feel about that. So we covered everything that happened before that, right?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah.
So why they had to go, go into other multiverses, because Wanda was gonna go find, them. She was going dream walk and chase them through the different multiverses.
Yeah, to get her power so that she could travel wherever she wanted to go.
Yeah, basically she was trying to get the powers from America Chavez so she could.
Wong was he asked her, this is later in the movie, but it has relevance. He asked her pretty much, oh, why do you need her powers? Why can't you just go to one of the universes, grab your kids and come back? And she's like, oh, no. If one of my kids gets sick, I'm going to snatch a disease from this universe and this other, so I need her. And I was like, oh, okay. That's the level how far she was. She was doing this for.
She was going dark, man. Got
dark. She went dark, and I loved every bit of it.
Before we get to the Illuminati, that part, was it Cosmo? Hang on, I'm gonna fuck the name up. Cosmotage, or wherever where the sorcerer was at.
So their headquarters, right? Their little.
Yeah, what was it, Cosmoheart or something like that?
It's something like that.
Whoever watches this video is gonna kill me for butchering that name.
Sorry, if you butcher it, just hit us in the comments.
Exactly.
Let us know.
I apologize, but I do love how when Wong and Steven were in that little sanctum and they were trying to stop her with the mirrors and stuff, and they were trying
that
to keep
was
her away
big.
from American Chavez.
Yeah.
She found a way to break through it and
And
come
she
through
was
the
all
puddles.
contorted. Yeah.
Bruh, like, remember how she was coming up through the puddles and they had to cover all the reflections and stuff because that's how she was getting through? And like you said, when she came through the gong and she was like, yeah, the gong mirror, whatever
It was like contorted
and she
and
was
stuff.
just started. I was like, ooh. I was like, see, this is what I've been waiting to see. And it's so, I was like, bro, I wanted more because the first Doctor Strange was like one of my favorite Marvel movies.
It was good.
So I was really hyped
Yeah.
about this. So basically, that could lead us into the Illuminati because how we were hyped about this movie. And when we heard the Illuminati was gonna be in it, and I can speak for my other YouTubers who make videos and reviews. I was watching stuff before the movie. They were speculating who was gonna be on the Illuminati, what they thought, who they think was gonna be the members. And I know I can speak for us. Maybe they were excited about it, but we were thinking it was gonna be the original core of Namor,
Black Panther,
Reed Richards, Black Panther,
Iron Man, Professor X, and Black Bolt.
Professor X, and Black Bolt, and then Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yeah.
So,
when I tell you, we got what, 2 out of the 5? No, 3 out of the 5 because we got Mr. Fantastic. So 3 out of the 5 because Baron was a replacement, but 3 out of the 5 or 6 of them. And no, here's the thing: when I saw their lineup and they were like, "Oh, we can handle Scarlet Witch," 2 of you can, maybe 3. But Captain Carter, no offense to Captain Carter, but you shouldn't have been on that lineup right there.
First of all, Captain America has never been a part of the Illuminati because Captain America has never stood on that kind of thing where you like come with this secret organization and they pretty much are people who take the powers into their own hands. That's not what Cap is about.
No.
Okay, I get it. It's a different universe, different Cap, whatever.
I mean, I understand why they did it, but
we all know why they did it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this was a perfect way to show us another Black Panther.
Yep.
Which they totally missed. Like they missed that one, that opportunity.
Of course.
Which I don't understand their whole gripe with the. I mean, I understand it. They don't want to recast, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, like you do a Multiverse of Madness and you have the Illuminati and one of the founding. Actually, in the most recent comics, he's the founder of the Illuminati and invited them to Wakanda to start it. Okay, all right. So I'm expecting him. So no, instead of Black Panther, we get Maria Rambeau, and they made her Captain Marvel. Which I know you hated.
Photon spectrum. Get it right. Come on. You had the suit. You had the suit.
They called her Captain Marvel.
You had the suit. You had a suit that was close enough to her freaking. Come on, dude. Dude. When I tell you that, remember I told you in the chat. I was like that moment right there was when it became a 7. Like I said it out loud. I was like, and there's a 7. I was like, and there's a 7. That's what I said out loud in the theater. And everybody was looking at me, and then I laughed at the scene where they were like, "We'll handle Scarlet Witch." I'm like, "No, you're not." Like I was sitting there like, "I'm ready for the bloodbath." That's what I sat back and was like this.
Yo,
ready for the bloodbath. I was like,
and then we get, like we said, we got Peggy and Captain Marvel. We didn't get Namor. Instead of Namor, we got Peggy replaced Namor.
Yeah,
because we did get Black Bolt.
Yeah.
We did get Doctor Strange.
We got Professor X. We got Mr. Fantastic.
Got Reed Richards.
Yeah.
And
that was weird.
About this.
That weird.
It was. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah,
the movies that came out when we were kids was all right when we were younger. But as far as like comic books and just that lore, I've never been a big fan of them because like their powers were that cool. Like of course,
the only person was
the Human Torch.
Human Torch. Yeah.
I did like the Thing because the Thing had that same problem as the Hulk. People look at him different because he doesn't look like them. So I love that.
I agree. Yeah.
Then they come out with and the smartest man in the universe, Stephen Strange, and he comes through the little whatever that is. But you call him the smartest man in the universe, but he does the dumbest thing and tells Wanda what Black Bolt can do, and then she uses it to like blow his
Yeah.
brains out. Like,
Yeah. Here's the thing. I just think that they look. Here's the thing. I put it to you like this, and I said I had this person say I was like, if the person you are worried about, Doctor Strange, you said you were worried about him, is telling you there's a person he's worried about, I'm unlocking the cuffs off him. We teaming up and we taking her down, and then we gonna deal with whatever this thing afterwards.
Bro. Like they made to be the Illuminati, they made so many mistakes.
They really
with
did.
The people, like if this was like the people who they were saying they were, none of them would have made those mistakes, and none of them would have like failed. I get why they killed them off for the movie because a couple of those, of course, we know like fan service. We know Reed Richards was a fan service because fans have been crying and begging him to cast him as Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
They've been crying about Patrick Stewart coming back.
Which I didn't mind that because he actually did a little bit. Like he actually did. Yeah. He actually tried to fight her off.
He got the closest.
Yeah, he did.
And I was still upset that he didn't win, but I got it. I know why they did.
I know why. Yeah,
I was like, it's cool.
Yeah.
And I thought it was badass that when he rolled up, he was in the yellow chair with the green suit
with the theme. When I heard the theme,
I said, "Go ahead, Danny Elfman. Danny Elfman know how to make a fucking score, man."
Yeah.
Like, yes.
I was hyped. I was like, I don't even care about the rest of this little part, but I like this.
And I like how they showed that he was a mutant and he used his telepathy to go into her mind.
And he did the thing like from the show. He did the whole thing.
I seen that. I was like, oh, bro, somebody did their homework from the 90s show. So like that was probably the highlight of the Illuminati for me was having Patrick Stewart as Professor X.
Oh yeah.
Like I didn't care about the whole Reed Richards thing because, like I said, I've never been a Fantastic Four fan.
And I knew he wasn't gonna last too long. I knew he wasn't
Reed Richards is not even the smartest man in the comic book.
He really is.
He's like what the fifth smartest person in the universe. Tony Stark is a dumbass or something like. I guess he's just stupid.
Or he just didn't make. He just kept making like bombs and stuff. He never became Iron Man.
He never became Iron Man. And I really was upset about them not having an Iron Man because I thought it would have been cool to actually do what people were saying and have Tom Cruise be
That's
like
what they were saying. They said it just never went anywhere.
Yeah, and then I found out that the writers wanted it and they said no about it. I'm like, yo, that's the one thing about Marvel that upsets me is we hear about all this stuff after the movies and they're like, oh yeah, this was the concept for this or this is the idea for this. We just said, no, bro, that would have been so good. So, like you see the Illuminati and like you see the empty chair and they introducing everybody and then Professor Xavier comes out and then you just hear in the suit and he sit down and the suit come off, the little nanotech come off and he sit down and say, so guys, what did I miss? And it is Tom, bro, it is Tom Cruise. Like you can't tell me that wouldn't have been.
Hey, here's the thing. I would have preferred that. I would have preferred them replace any of the people in that lineup, preferably the ones that aren't cast members or the founding members, and had Iron Man on there instead of either one of those two people they put on there as replacements. God dang, I would have took Tom Cruise over them. Exactly. I'd have been chilling. I'd have been sitting like, oh, I don't care.
Bro.
Exactly. Here's the thing. It would have been a better fight. It would have been a better freaking fight.
So then, speaking of fights, let's talk about that.
Oh my God.
So they fight Wanda.
Yeah.
And like you said, Professor X is the closest to almost get her back and snap her out of it. But she just took Reed and Black Bolt out like it was nothing.
They were nothing. Like they had Reed Richards. I can see that. But Black Bolt, I was expecting them to just hit her with something like a scion voice thing or something.
He said that.
Her. Yeah, he called her out. They must not. Her Scarlet Witch from their universe must not even be. It must not have them hands like that. For them to think that they can just talk like that.
That's what I'm saying. But she must never got to be the Scarlet Witch. She just
she just wanted. And they're just like, oh, whatever.
Then, like I was telling Chad, bro, she like unraveled Reed like the little candies we used to have.
Yeah, like the red bot, the Twizzlers, like you pull apart. Yeah.
And people don't realize that was his brain that she like exploded.
Yeah.
at the end. I was like, yo, Sam Raimi really like he walked the line of getting that R rating, and I
They should
love.
have gave it to him. They should
They
have gave
should
that to
have.
him
That
because
should
that
have
movie.
hit,
At some point in time,
man.
I was like, this movie. I was like, this
Oh,
movie
it
is
was
rated
getting
R.
dark.
I was
It
like,
was
this movie
getting
rated
dark.
R, especially when Doctor Strange 2 came, the evil one. I was like, oh yeah, this is dark.
Oh yeah, and he got impaled on the fence.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, they actually showed it.
Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, and her display. She threw the shield.
Oh, that was my favorite. That was my favorite fatality. Yo,
she threw it back like Kung Lao from Mortal Kombat. There, could you?
It was like
fatality. I was like, woo.
Like, you think you powerful enough to stand with me?
He said, get that little frisbee out my face. I was like, ooh.
One death that I was upset with, and I know you was.
Yeah.
Was we gonna call a photon?
Oh, we're calling a photon or a spectrum, either or.
We're gonna call a photon a spectrum.
Yeah.
How does somebody who has the power like that? Because if we're talking about the same Captain Marvel in another universe, the Captain Marvel on Earth 616 stood up to Thanos and was clocking him like it was nothing.
It was knocking him off.
So you're telling me she dies because of a dang statue falling on her, and she can't blast it or something?
Man, she can't hit it with this. Or I'm sorry, they made Captain Marvel from Carol Danvers look like she has super strength or whatever. She couldn't just push that off her.
I was like, man, bro.
Man, I was like,
Go ahead. I was like, I get, like I said, I get why they.
I get why they did it, but it was stupid.
Yeah, and I was like, that's when I got a little disappointed because after she went through that whole thing with them, I was like, okay, we're gonna get to see a couple of more universes. We might get to see a version of the X-Men, or we might get to see more of the Fantastic Four, or a version of Hank Pym, because some people were speculating that with that Illuminati, maybe Hank Pym actually made the Ultron bots, and that's why Tony.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I was looking for them to show more of the world. Yeah. I felt like it became more of a little fan service moment.
Well, I think that they will, because I think them using the dream walking to show Scarlet Witch taking over that Wanda was not something that they're going to revisit that in. That's going to be the new Wanda. I'm pretty sure that they're going to pull her as the new Wanda in some facet, because I don't think that was something that he was like, oh, okay, we're going to use her as a dream walking thing, and that's going to be the whole thing. Because that last look they gave each other, they looked at each other, and she was like, "Go be loved," and she sent her off. I was like, they're probably going to revisit that because she has a family, she got vision. It'll be so easy to grab it.
Coming back.
They can just grab that whole universe because what they're setting up for is Secret Wars, and those two Earths could be the ones that collide.
That's what people were saying. You probably will see more characters from other universes in Secret Wars, and they say what's gonna happen is just like in the comics, it's gonna fuse some of them with the Earth. I think that's how Miles in the comics got the Earth 616.
Yeah, the Ultimate Universe died off, and he got sent into that one because of that event. So that's what I was telling
If that's the case, I'm cool with that because that means we get we get Silver Surfer and all that stuff will probably come. We'll get to see a black suit Spider-Man.
We'll get to see a lot of good stuff. And here's the thing. They need to push their phase timeline farther back because there's no way they're going to be able to get to Secret Wars, especially the way they're going now with how they're revealing things. How they pulled the Illuminati in a movie and it felt rushed. How they just oh, here's Illuminati. You can't be doing that stuff when you're talking about multiverse. You got to spread that a little thin. And that's what I was telling Chad. I was like, the third Doctor Strange movie is probably when we're gonna see Miles or something like that from the Ultimate Universe. Yeah, that's probably what because we're gonna spoil the post credit scene a little bit. That's where they're probably going to the Ultimate Universe because those are the ones that collide in the book. So I'm pretty sure that's where they're gonna go.
Hopefully that's what we.
That's hope. I'm speculating here. I might be off, man, because I'm off with a lot of Marvel stuff now because they're just doing whatever they got to do. They're just trying to make stuff work.
Do you think they're gonna build an Illuminati in that Earth, the main time of the MCU Earth 616? Do you think they will build it through the shows that's coming up? The She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, the next season of Loki. Do you think they'll throw hints at why they would have an Illuminati? Because we know why they made the Illuminati. But of course, the Hulk is not the Hulk.
He's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to
so
replace him with She-Hulk, and She-Hulk's gonna have to become the World Breaker Hulk, or that kind of like director where they have to send
yeah,
her off. But
which
I
is
think that's
not
gonna
gonna
be
happen. Yeah,
yeah.
because She-Hulk is not like Rage. She's like basically what they have the Hulk is now. He
I mean,
controls it.
if they're going based on the comic book, she now comic book wise, from what I've seen, she's like the Hulk. They're not really that different anymore.
Yeah.
They can pull it off. And I think it's going to probably happen, if anything, either Black Panther 2 or the Ironheart series, because that's Wakanda based, and I'm pretty sure they're going to try to tie it in there because Namor's going to be Namor's
I
going
was
to be
just gonna
teased
say
in
Namor is coming, so
he's going to be
that's
teased in
probably
Ironheart probably. They're going to tease him in
yeah,
Ironheart or something like that,
yeah.
and
So
say
I think with Namor coming into the picture, I think they're gonna have Illuminati because I don't think they would just bring up the Illuminati
and not
in a different multiverse and not incorporate that in their main universe. Because even with him saying like the joke about the Fantastic Four, like then y'all die off in like the '60s or something like that, he said, I really think that's like hinted and that's like an Easter egg to that the Fantastic Four actually was in 616. Either they got caught in the quantum realm or they are stuck in some kind of like multiverse thing.
Or they
Something
just went
happened to
missing.
them.
They went missing or something like that, like in the 60s.
Because I feel like they exist.
Yeah, I agree.
In the main MCU, they just trying to figure out how they're gonna introduce them because they definitely are pushing towards that now that they actually shown a version of Reed Richards. So that means, and we know that it's gonna be a version of Reed Richards because they have Kang. Kang is a descendant of Reed Richards.
Or they said Doom, either or. One of the two.
So but either way, we know that the Fantastic Four is going to be.
And they're there, and we definitely know the mutants are here too because we got Professor X. So I'm pretty sure we're getting at least the starting lineup of Cyclops, Jean Grey. Yes, but here's the thing: if they're gonna cast Storm, she need to be very melanin. Okay. Yeah, like they can't. I mean, no shade to Ollie Berry and the other girl that they cast, but that hasn't been the accurate Storm that we are used from the books. And if we're talking about Apocalypse, she only said 2 lines in that movie, and that irritated me very much. They had her say 2 lines, and she sat in the background. I'm like, dude, you are a god, okay?
Exactly.
But we're getting Inhumans too, but I don't think anybody really cares about the Inhumans like that. Take it back, because technically that could lead into Mrs. Marvel show because she is an Inhuman, so they could tie that in somewhere where I don't know. Like I'm trying to tie that knot because they did make her reference that she's Inhuman, from what I remember. And they just introduced the Inhumans, so that might tie into where they are now, and they might talk about that.
Yeah.
So hopefully, but we are getting young. We are getting young Avengers, so that's happening.
Oh yeah, we definitely getting that. So
I need to see Nova eventually. We need Nova somewhere. Maybe in Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie, they'll have Nova.
I think they're gonna do Nova. Yeah, wrapping all that into one thing. That's the whole Illuminati thing. When they couldn't get the Book of Agama or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying it right?
Like I say, I'm bad. I'm bad with pronunciations. All right, let's
just say the good book.
The good holy book. The positive light book. Right.
Yeah, that whole scene where Wanda is chasing them as they go to get the book was a freaking masterpiece, and it was basically it was a scene pulled from a horror movie put into a horror movie. That was beautiful, and so we get that to happen.
Oh wait, we got to talk about Professor X before we move on from Luminon. We didn't talk about Professor X and his last stand that he did in the movie, like his whole what he tried to do to get.
He tried to pull a good one out that she was actually controlling.
Yeah.
So she could snap her out of it and get her from dream walking. That was pretty cool that we got to see him use his mutant abilities. And he has the same kind of abilities that he had in the Fox movies, and he's that strong because he would do things like that. So I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, they kept Professor X's like mutant abilities where they were. They didn't try to make it something crazy or
like nerf him down a little bit. Or something like that.
So that was cool. And then she just snapped his neck.
Jump scare there.
That was fucking.
That was a good one. Oh my god, that was good. I love that. That was one of my favorite little scenes of the movie. I couldn't move on without talking about how great that was. And it was, and she looked zombified in that freaking. When she grabbed him like that, she looked like very like dead looking.
She did.
I mean,
speaking of that, how dead looking she looked when she was going like chasing them. like how beat up the body she was using was, because it wasn't a Scarlet Witch body, it was just regular Wanda.
Yeah.
Like the oil and blood that got on her face and how her eyes were glowing red, like she looked like a zombie chasing them.
And the fact that she had like a broken foot or leg or ankle or something like that.
It was like, it really made her look like Sam Raimi really did use like that metaphor of zombies, like, and he shot it where it could really make her look like she was part of the undead. Exactly. And that was really cool. So like we were saying, as she was chasing them, like that whole little setup and sequence was really dope. And then when they didn't get the book, that's when Chavez got frightened, and she opened up the portal, but Wanda does like the most badass thing, is like, come in.
Yeah, snatched her
up
and real
throw
quick.
them into the portal to go to another multiverse and take her, and was like, I'm using you to open back up where I was.
And then I'm going to push you out through there.
And then I'm going to push you in there, and we're going to go back in there. And then I released the other Wanda.
And then she immediately was like, oh, my kids, and said, I was like, oh, okay.
Bro. And then I was like, man, they don't know that Wanda just murdered the whole Illuminati.
Right?
I was like, bro, it's so dope how they showing Wanda's like true and raw power, and how the Darkhold has like really tainted her mind and twisted her to where she really believes that this is the only way she could do things.
Yeah.
Not because she's doing it with bad intentions, like you said, but she's doing it because of the hurt and pain that she's experienced. She's a hurt, not even like woman, just a hurt person. She's going through like grief. She's really grieving, and she hasn't had the time to actually really grieve for real. I was like, yo, it's crazy how they really like displaying her powers, and like how she basically was like, I am like a god, basically.
Pretty much. Like, she was like,
I'm supposed to fulfill this whole thing, but man, when she does that whole thing, it's awesome, because now Steven and old girl, they got thrown into a damn universe. Everything is all twisted and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
And then who was there, Dmitri? Your boy.
Evil Strange, man. Look, here's the thing. I love how they use the freaking, like, they like communicated that like the loss of like their sister as like a waypoint of them like understanding they're not like evil, like they're the same. Yeah.
We didn't know that in the movies until now.
Here's the thing. They were supposed to have that in the first movie, but they cut it out. That was supposed to be in the first movie, and they cut it out. And I learned that recently. I was like, that would have probably made that movie. I guess I understand why they did it, but that would have helped with like maybe the fact that how he does his like surgery and stuff like that, and like how he like really like pushes himself to be the person to save people because he could not save his sister. Like that would have been a good strong point, and it worked in this movie. And it gave him, more conviction of why he wanted to do what he did and save Chavez. Like it worked. I understand what they were doing with that, but like I already knew something. Like when they went into that universe, I already knew Doctor Strange was all some other stuff. Like I saw the universe, like, oh, the Doctor Strange up there. You don't even want to talk to him. You don't even want to mess with him.
He didn't do nothing right.
I'd have been like, nah, wrong universe. I'm gonna try to spell my way to somewhere else because we're not talking to man. But I like the musical score they used as like their magic spell. That was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was very cool.
Strange, it was like,
right? I was like, oh, that was
like
dope.
Okay, that was good. That was really dope. That was a good sequence.
Yeah, I agree.
And I like we said, I like how when he threw him out the window, they gave us a Mortal Kombat fatality. Like when you used to kick him off the leg.
Yeah, I was about to say the spikes. Yeah.
I was just waiting for like the fatality. Like,
dude, I waited for that fatality to happen when threw her shield back at her, like Kuma with the freaking game. I was like waiting for the because they did that freeze frame where I knew her body's gonna fall apart, and I was like waiting for the fatality. And I was like, that would have been. I would have hated. I would have. I would have known it'd have been out of place, but I would have still liked it. But I will say, the one thing I liked also about that was they showed that like the grieving process of Doctor Strange and how he was going through the fact of how he lost 5 years, and when he came back, his girl was I think she was getting married or whatever, or she was betrothed to somebody. So he was dealing with that the entire movie in the background. And the last scene of the movie, well, I'm skipping a little ahead. It's like they fixed his watch, and that was an important part of getting to the waypoint. Was the watch was the thing that connected all the Stranges. I think. I guess that's one of the things they have. Is in every universe they messed up with the main female lead. I think her name's Evelyn. Evelyn, right? Am I right?
I can't remember her name.
I'm sorry, but I think
she
it is.
was
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I just
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like I was like, okay, I understand your purpose, and I think they were talking about in every universe that I think even the one of the what is it called? Defender Strange. He even messed up in his universe. So it seemed like it was a constant thing that they all could not have her as their love interest. So I think that watch connected all of them. So he was like something important, and he thought about the watch, and he was like, okay, that's probably it. And I love that. And then him getting over her was like him fixing the watch. I thought that was a nice little part of him because he's grieving too. Like the hero and the villain were both grieving in different stages. Because like even the evil Strange, to get back on the evil Strange, he was like, I don't know why I lied to her and said I was happy with this. I went home and I was questioning why I even lied to her. And then I started going to the book and doing all the evil stuff. And he talked about why he was. And then he talked about the fact that we were, about going back to the dream thing from the beginning. It's like, if you ever had a dream that I knocked you off of something, that was me. All right, you had a dream where I was falling there, like that was me. I was like, I like that.
The dialogue and the writing for that, that whole scene was really good, man. I love how they set that whole thing up. Cause it's a version of you out here that really just didn't care anymore and gave up all hope.
It was a version that just didn't like seeing Doctor Strange happy. It was like going through the universe and killing him.
And it's funny, like how you just said about both of the characters were grieving still, and I think that's how Steven was like, you know what? We don't have to kill Wanda because I understand what's going on with her. We have to give her a chance. Like when they opened up the portal and he was telling America Chavez, he was like, no, just let her see so she can see that this is not the way. He still was willing to give her a chance. That could easily be me.
Yeah.
Because it was me in some other universe. So I thought it was freaking awesome until the dead body, and we had a zombie.
And then all those souls came to punish him, and he was like, "Give me those souls." I was like, "Yes."
And he used it as
the extra arms and stuff, the hands and the power, necromancy,
used it as the cape so he could levitate up to the mouth. Like, yo. Nice.
Yo, I like Doctor. I was like, I like the unhinged Doctor Strange. I like him unhinged, powerful Doctor Strange. I love that. I was like, yeah, you might not be doing things for the right reason. And Wanda called him out a couple of times in the movie, saying that you do these things, you mess with reality, and you're a hero, but I do it, and I'm the villain. That was a good set for the entire movie, and that really played out. And it came back at the end, and she called him out again when he necromanced. She was like, see, you did this thing, you touched that book. You get to do all this stuff and this other. And she was calling him out, and I was like, rightfully so.
Basically, you a hypocrite.
Yeah, she literally called him a hypocrite. Like at one point, she called him a hypocrite, and I love that his purpose, conviction, and the fact of the matter that another thing they said is like the love interest. You have to be the person at the knife. You have to have the knife who makes the cut, the precision. You have to be the main dude. And they brought that person, the brother, the guy who lost his brother in his cat or whatever. He asked him if there was another way to do it, if he had to do it that way, if he had to make that decision. And that was an interesting thing because we as fans, we thought, that was the only choice. But maybe there was another choice where he died. And that was, and he didn't want to be the person that died. He didn't want
to be the person that died. He has to be the one to save and get the universe. He can't
exactly.
It has to be him to make it right.
And that's why that thing bothered him about Wong not being the Sorcerer Supreme, because he has to be the guy that's the main dude bossing everybody around, the one that controlled everything. Like
so
the elements in this movie were great. Like
that's why I said I loved it, and I wish we would have had more of it. You could tell and you could feel it was more that was there, and I really hope it's a way we can see it. If it's like deleted scenes, concept art. I just want to see what Sam Raimi had or what the writers had in store for us. And I really thought we was gonna get Toby in there. But when I saw Bruce Campbell, I was like, oh, we're gonna get Toby walking by. But I was like, we talked about a lot of things.
We talked about the post-credit scene.
Technically. Yeah. I didn't know who that was because I'm not that deep into Doctor Strange, but of course I watch videos. So apparently she's like a love interest of his in the comic book niece, technically, and she's the sorcerer of the dark dimension. So I think that's gonna be pretty cool.
Eventually.
Yes, I think that's gonna be pretty cool to set that up. They setting up America Chavez to learn how to control the powers. Even got her learning to be a sorcerer. So that's pretty cool. I think we're gonna definitely get some more new characters that's coming into the MCU because of this movie. It's definitely setting up for other properties like the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, the Inhumans. All of that stuff is you can tell it's getting close to being on screen or in the shows or wherever it may be. With all that said, Demetrius, I would just get your final thought. What do you expect for the future of the MCU going forward? Are you excited? Are you worried? And then, of course, what would you get a final rating for this film? To kind of give a summary of it.
All right, look. I think that Marvel needs to utilize the shows a lot more to introduce, like they're doing with Moon Knight, how they did with Loki, how they did with Wanda and her show, and that kind of led into what Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness was. But I think they also need to open up the episode count a little bit more because 6 episodes does not do great for concluding a show, even if you really push it an hour. You need to give more space. Am I excited? Doctor Strange definitely made me more excited for things to come. I'm still worried about things because it does still feel rushed a bit. And I think, like I said before, I think they need to move their timeline a little bit, space it a lot more to put things like shows in between movies and stuff like that so they can flesh it out. So when we get to Secret War, it's not like, 4-hour movie, adding characters, Spider-Man dies somewhere. Oh, wait, Miles is here. You know what I'm saying? Like, give that time to flesh out a bit more. Final thoughts. I liked the movie. There were some things that definitely putting the score down a little bit for me. I enjoyed it. Sam Raimi did a great job for what he was able to do. I think that he was probably the best director that we could have had for this, being that it was really it had those horror elements and it needed to have those horror elements. And I think, and for the most part, I think this was probably, in my opinion, I think this was a stronger movie than Far From Home. I think this is probably a better movie for me overall than Far From Home. And I'm gonna give it the same rating of the day Far From Home, only because of that. The Illuminati scene blew me a bit, so I had to take a little knock off of it.
Yeah.
But I will say it's a better story. It's a better story. Had the characters like Doctor Strange and Wanda and American Chavez were done a lot better than a lot of the things in Far From Home. Not to really compare, but that's the last Marvel movie I saw. I think I want to say this. I think I'm excited for Doctor Strange 3. So I'm hyped for that. I'm hyped for a continuation of Wanda's story somewhere because I want more of that. They did a very good job of leveling her out and giving the fans what they've been wanting for, I think, years. And getting to my rating, I'm just summing all my points up, but I rated a 7 out of 10. Really? I'll take it back. I'll rate it a 7.5 out of 10. I give it a little bit nudge because revisiting those scenes from the movie really made me like, okay, I can give you a little bit more. And I do, now that I'm talking about it, I like the story elements a lot more than I did when I saw it. And hopefully Sam Raimi gets some more credit out there. And hopefully they release some deleted scenes or whatever of this. And that's it. Yeah. What do you rate it? How do you sum up everything?
I'm gonna sum it up like this. I'm gonna classify that Doctor Strange is a psycho, mystical, thriller, horror, superhero movie.
One more point.
That's what I'm gonna call it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I'll finish. I'll put my point at the end. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you was gonna add something to that.
Oh, I was gonna add something, but I'll wait till after you're done. I don't want to cut you off.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I said, I'm gonna call it a psycho mystical horror because that's what it felt like. The writing was good. The dialogue between the characters, especially Wanda and Steven. I liked the whole setup. It really was more emotion to build it, and I think that's what drove the story more. It was people who really were grieving and trying to find their way to get out of that state of mind. So I think they really used like elements of that to really drive the story. And they didn't depend so much on who's more powerful and this and that. Like I said, I enjoy the scenes that Sam Raimi set up. He did like Sam Raimi does. Of course, we talked about that. It could have been some improvements, but I was happy that we got it because we haven't got the Illuminati for like 20 movies. So it was cool that we finally got to see that. I definitely think moving forward, it's got me a little bit more excited than I was. I'm still kind of on the edge, so I don't completely know what to expect, and I don't know what direction they're going in. I know what the goal is probably to do with the stuff that they introduced in this. We got Spider-Man movies that's still coming. There's more of those. We got Thor, Love and Thunder coming. We got Black Panther this year. In the future, we got the Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's stuff lining up. So I guess down the line we're gonna get more answers. My rating, I'm gonna stick with my 7. Only because I was keeping that at 7 because like I said, I feel like it was a lot of stuff that was missing, and you could tell it was missing. And
I agree.
The fact that like I could understand if it was like cut from 2 hours and 40 minutes to 2 hours and 20 minutes, but from 2:40 to 2 hours and 2 minutes, that's like a big chop. So I'm just like, when you tell me that, I'm curious now. Okay, what did they cut? Because I really feel like whatever they cut, it needed to be in those little spaces. But that's just me being nitpicky as like a filmmaker and like my creative stuff going on. But other than that, it was a great movie. I enjoyed it. The other Doctor Strange is still my favorite one right now. Even Strange is me on a bad day.
Oh yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much what I had to think. But what was your final thought? You wanted to make?
I had a couple points. One was, in like so remember we didn't have a Batman review. We were talking a Batman review that they were trying to give a horror-like movie or like feel like a horror movie. This one was actually a horror movie. Like they actually gave it to us. Like, and I love that they actually gave us that, not being like, oh, it's horror theme, it's horror with him. And I love that they took the extra step in going that way, especially with Sam Raimi as the director. You have to. Second, I didn't know there were Spider-Man movies they were doing because Tom Holland was saying, I'm going to retire.
Sony announced like the lineup and like it's 2 more Spider-Man movies. I don't know if it's gonna be him. I don't know who it is, but yeah, I know I think when they did that deal with Marvel, he signed on for 3 more movies. So I think he got 2 more he has to do. So of course, I think he'll probably do 2 more, and then the second one they'll pass it on to Miles. I think
that's probably how they're gonna do it. Last point was it like I agree with you. There was stuff that's missing in that, and that's why it's not an 8 out of 10. Because I would have probably given it an 8 because it did impress me. This, that, the other, and the reason I knocked it down a little bit was for the Illuminati. Even though after that they made up for the Wanda scene, so it balanced it. But I really hope that when they do bring them into the 616 universe, that the lineup is different. And they actually give characters that I think could stop threats. Like the whole lineup could stop threats. Like there's not power hats, and then we have people that are dealing with, how to explain this? Like every one of the characters need to be like characters that I'm like, okay, you get in a fight, I already know you got this. I'm not worried about you. You know what I'm saying? If they do it, I hope they do it. And last thing I would say is, I hope that what's the next movie in the lineup? Is it is it what?
Thor, Love and Thunder.
Okay, we gonna have to definitely talk about Thor: Love and Thunder because I'm on the fence about that movie because like I see things that I like and then I see things that I'm like I don't know.
Hey, all I know is it's somewhere in here. I don't know when we talked about it, but I said that Taika Waititi was gonna do an 80s month workout with Thor to get him back in shape, and I'll be damned. That's what's in the trailer. So hey, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
You did call that. You did call that like what, like a year ago or something, like a couple months ago. You called it out. I remember that. Yeah. You called it out. So you on it today. You took the hat from me. You took the Marvel hat from me, put it on, and was like, yeah, I know what's going on now.
So that'll be the next Marvel movie, of course, you guys. So, we will give you a review for that.
Oh yeah, and I'm more or less because I'm more or less liking that, and then obviously Guardians and Ant-Man are going to be definitely movies that I'm looking forward to. But the rest of the lineup is still me on the fence, just like you. We're still like, okay, we'll see what it's like. But Doctor Strange for me was a movie that was going to level my excitement. If this movie wasn't going to be like, if this movie didn't do as well, or I didn't like it as much, it would set the tone for the following movies. And so it did well. I'm more hopeful now. So I can end it off on that. Do you have any other final remarks? I'm like, now that we talked a little more, do you have any more final remarks you have to add?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay, I just want to make sure to give
everything I had to
you
say.
everything out because I kind of went and did a little bit more. But yeah, if you like our discussion and you have things that you like from the movie, things you disagree with us, you agree with us, you have corrections to the pronunciation of a lot of things we
Please let us know.
We're sorry. We don't want to say the thing wrong and be wrong, so we try to say our best thing. Then let us know in the comment section down below. We'll be down there. We'll talk to you guys. We'll have a whole conversation. If you like the video, smack that like button. Like the Hulk out here. Share the video because that helps it a lot. Hit the notification underneath the video to get notified of this video on YouTube. Follow or you can view the video on our website, Square Roundtable Pod. Fandomlim.com when it comes out, I think at the end of the week. That link is, or that website is squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. And you can view us on YouTube, obviously, after the fact. And join us on our follow us on all our socials, our Instagram, our Twitter, and a pesky Facebook group. We'd love to see you in there. We have a lot of conversation on the Multiverse of Madness and what characters you like. And this has been the Square Roundtable Podcast. I've been your host, Dmitri, and this is
Marcus Long. And like I said, Dr. Strange, we are classifying the Head Square Roundtable as a psycho-mystical horror.
And we are out. Peace.